What I'd like to show today is configuring OptoDataLink to send data from an Access database to SoftPack and then to the Groove. So these pieces shown as software. Here is a snapshot of a Access database, and there's a table called temp settings, which has two fields in it, one called temp set point, the other called temp high alarm, and those are floating point numbers. Down here is a strategy that I've got running in SoftPack talking to the Learning Center, and there's two variables down there that will receive this data. One is called temperature set point, and the other one's called high temperature alarm set point. So the purpose of OptoDataLink in this case is to pull the data out of the database and write it down into the Opto22 controller, and then once it's in the controller we can show it in the Groove. So let's see, we'll get out of here, and I'm going to start with the database. Just a quick look at it. This is Microsoft Access. One thing about OptoDataLink is it will communicate with a variety of different devices, especially the database side. It'll talk to Access, it'll talk to SQL Server, MySQL, even an Excel spreadsheet it'll talk to, either for reading or writing. In this case, I'm going to be just reading data from the database. The point of maybe this demo is thinking that a person may want to show data in the Groove, data that isn't necessarily from your control system. So it would be data that would be coming from some maybe enterprise system, and once it's in the database, we can use OptoDataLink to pull the data out of there, write it down into our controller, and show it on Groove. So so there's my data. Here's the Opto strategy, and here's temperature set point variable and high temperature alarm set point, a couple of floats. That's running. So we'll go ahead and configure OptoDataLink and start and programs, the Opto22 group, pack project 9.3, OptoDataLink 9.3, and this is a clean start of a data link project. And what we do is we basically say where the data is coming from, where is it going to, how often we want it to do it, and does it depend on anything. So we start, and we're going to say our data comes from a database, and the database is an Access database. Here's some of our other choices: SQL Server, MySQL. An ODBC database is a way to connect to all kinds of different databases if they have an ODBC driver. It's kind of like OPC in some respect for databases. It's a open database connectivity is what ODBC stands for. Lots and lots of databases work with that. If you had Oracle or something like that. Here, so we're going to pick Access, and here we'll browse for the Access database file, and that's right here. And we know that our table is called temp settings, and that's all we need to do for an Access database. Then, and where does it go to? We can pick file, database, or Opto22 device, and we're going to send our data to the controller. So we pick Opto22 device, and now we're going to pick two tags that correspond to the two fields in the database table that we want. So we pick add tags, and we find our IDB file and pulls up our strategy in our database, and in the tree structure here we can pick numeric variables. We pick our temperature set point, make sure there's a little click checkbox next to the variable, and we say add tags, and it puts it in the list of tags to be written to. And then we'll pick our second point, which is going to be the high alarm set point. Check that one, say add tags. Now we've got two variables that are going to be written to inside the controller. And the third part here is how often and when do we do this, and we're going to say do it on an interval, and it's going to do it every 10 seconds. You can see 10 in the seconds, and it depends on, we're going to say always, so every 10 seconds. You could have it depend on an Opto22 device, which would be, say, an I/O point or something. Could be a database field. We're going to just leave it as always, so every 10 seconds it'll do it. We're going to file, save as. We're just going to put this in here, and we'll call it test, and save. Then what we're going to do is here's controls for run and stop, and we hit run. We could also give this a name. Here it's called new link, which is fine for us. We could give it something a little more reasonable, but new link is fine. We hit run. Now we want to go into our groove, and we're going to build here, and that's okay. I've got a couple connections here with horizontal sliders. This one's high temperature alarm set point. This one is my temperature set point. Let's go into groove view, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the database table. Here it is, temp settings, and if I put a number in here of 79.5, and let's say a high temperature alarm of 89.5, and then we switch over to here, the groove, we should see within 10 seconds, we should see our numbers show up here. There they are, 89.5, 79.5. I can even set these back down, and we'll see them overwrite it again. So there you go. That's basically using OptoDataLink to get data from a database of some sort into the groove. Thank you.